Okay. Chat delay. Bring up the chat. Uh-oh. Bill. Man, took a while. It didn't want to cooperate. All right, there we go. We got the chat up. And Rumbo's first one in the door. And there's Kathy. So let's, and Linda's here. All right. Broadcasting live from station WDWL TV. Corporate offices located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard. And my personal two studios are located on Grumpy Old Man Road. And this is me. And introducing the Grumpy Jackalope. Yay! All right, there's the Grumpy Jackalope. All right, asshole, the Grumpy Vulture. Take your bow. Pain in the ass. Turn around here, gee. Straighten your banner. Look at the camera. What is with you tonight? Can't get you in focus. Look at the camera. Straighten your banner. That's enough. Power saving. Economy mode. Well, people, I was out cruising the neighborhood, terrorizing the neighborhood like some teenage kid. I tell you what, I wish I didn't have to wait till January. Although, what I can't understand, evidently, Germany must have a completely different manufacturing calendar. Because any vehicles in the United States that are made up until September would be like 2025s. Starting in September, they would be 2026. I looked at the date of manufacture on the Passat, and it was May of 2000. Now, technically, that car should be a 2000. But it's a 2001, and it makes no sense. I don't know how they do their cutoff over in Germany, but technically that car should be a 2000, and I should be able to go get plates for it like tomorrow. But no. May is May of 2000 basically should be a 2000. I don't understand it. I'm going to call the Title Bureau tomorrow and I'm going to ask them. Even though the VIN number says 2001, see, if it was a 2000, I could have plates for it tomorrow. Well, almost. Another beautiful day in Cleveland in the mid 80s. I'm loving this weather. Thank God for global warming. Now you can tell that was not a Ronson because I have the ceiling fan going and that lighter fired right up because it's a Zippo and it's a special Zippo. I don't know if you can read it. We're going to try to get it in the camera. It says Grumpy and WDWL TV. Focus. Focus. Come on, focus. And on the back it says, asshole. No, just kidding. Engraved. Ron, I almost fell out of the chair. That was very kind of you. It really was. Now I can retire the shitty Ronson and have a Zippo. An engraved Zippo to boot. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. For a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a Zippo. Second of all, it's engraved and people can't steal it. Because it says Grumpy and WDWL TV. Brushed finish. Very nice. Very nice. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Believe me, that will get a lot of use. Because the Ronson is going back in the drawer. Never to be used again. Yeah, my letter carrier did a double take. I was doing some wiring on the Passat because I got to put my fog lights on it and I got to put my siren, and I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to put my scanners. I've got the little CB in, and she was walking up the driveway and she looked at the mail and went, "Are you Grumpy Vulture Productions?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, really. What do you produce?" I opened the door on the Passat because the door says WDWL TV on YouTube at 7 p.m. She said, can I watch? I said, yeah, go on YouTube, put in WDWL space TV, 7 p.m., and you'll see my goofy face. So I hope Jasmine is watching. If you are, Jasmine, hello. This is Grumpy Vulture Productions right here. There's a Grumpy Vulture right there. And if you notice, Jasmine, who gets the better street sign? Look at his, look at mine. Damn bird. Yeah, I was shocked when I opened that envelope and I see a Zippo box. I was like, oh. And then it was personally engraved. So I am extremely happy. I am extremely grateful. Ron, thank you again. Believe me, it's going to get a lot of use. Even though with it being engraved in that, I'm using it. This is no collector's piece that's going to sit on a shelf. It's going to sit in my pocket. Actually, it's going to sit in my my leather Zippo lighter carrier. I should have brought it in. I'm trying to think, where is it? Oh, I know where it's at. Okay. It's safe. Not that kind of safe, Kathy. It's safe. I know where it is. It's on my dresser. I'll tell you what, I use the hell out of that thing. That is one of the most convenient items. It clips on your belt. It's a nice leather case. The lighter fits right in it, and it don't get scratched or anything because it's nice soft leather. And it used to say Zippo, but over the years the Zippo got worn off of it. Because I kind of learned the hard way. When you fill a Zippo, you are supposed to leave it set for a while. Well, one day I filled my Zippo and I threw it in my pocket. And it ended up upside down. And all of a sudden, I'm like, holy shit, my thigh is on fire. God damn, what the hell? A lighter fluid burn. I learned, don't carry them in your pocket right after you fill them. Of course, dumbass me, I'm wearing blue jeans. Blue jeans have a built-in lighter pocket. Did I put it in the lighter pocket? No, I put it in the regular pocket. Kids nowadays have no idea what that little pocket's for. Well, they use it to carry their dope. True blue jeans have that little lighter pocket. And that's what it was made for. Lighters or, packs of matches or a knife. It would have to be a small knife. But lighters go right in really nice. So the one day I was on the Zippo website and I saw these leather pouches. I was like, gee, for 15 bucks, I'm going to order one. And it has a nice, sturdy, heavy belt clip. I bought the thing, God, 10 years ago. Well, originally, yeah, Kathy, originally. When's the last time you saw somebody carry a pocket watch? They kind of went by the wayside in the early 50s. But back in the day, oh yeah, when people had pocket watches, that yeah. I shouldn't have said that it was originally for lighters. I stand corrected. It was originally for pocket watches. And then people that didn't carry pocket watches that smoked like me used it for a lighter. I have a couple of pocket watches. I don't use them. I used to, if I would have to wear a suit somewhere, I always had three-piece suits because I like a vest. Just because you look the part. Like when I was driving limousine, when you've got a three-piece suit on, you look the part. And I would always add my pocket watch in, run the chain through, like you're supposed to. And I always got so many comments from my customers. Are you carrying a pocket watch? Why, yes. Would you like to know what time it is? Click, I actually had a female customer. She was an author. She said, my word, you look dignified. Most of my chauffeurs don't dress that nice. I said, well, I do. She was not, I'm trying to think of her name. Oh, God, I can't. Because at that time, we would meet our customers at the gate. Now they have a sectioned off area you can't even get in the airport. We would go right up to the gate and meet them as they, deplaned. And we were walking through the terminal, and she said, I didn't have any lunch. I think I'd like some pizza. And there was that Sbarro pizza stand. So she tells the guy, I'll have 2 pieces, pepperoni and sausage, and my chauffeur will have 2 pieces of pepperoni and sausage. And I went, She said, don't insult me. I don't like eating in front of people, so you and I are going to eat together. I was like, oh, okay. So we sat in the back of the limousine, eating pizza and getting to know one another. And then after we finished our pizza, she said, I'm going to sit in the front with you. Is that okay? I said, yeah, sure. Her agent was like, she goes, no, you can sit in the back. I want to sit and talk to the chauffeur. So we chatted all the way to the Ritz-Carlton. Then I picked her up the next morning. She had 2 book signings. And then I took her back to the Ritz-Carlton. The next morning, she had a book signing, and then we were out at some library out east. I want to say out in Mayfield. No, it wasn't a library, it was a bookstore. I want to say out in Mayfield. And she had a reading. She would pick certain chapters and read so many paragraphs. I didn't know authors did that. There were about 30 people in the bookstore for her reading. And when I took her to the airport, she gave me an autographed book. I've got it somewhere. I miss that job. Oh, God, do I miss that job. I had more fun with people. I'll never forget when the Superman movie came out. And I can't remember who the voice of Superman was, but Dana Delaney from China Beach was the voice of Lois Lane. And they had a big program at the post office because it was the first day issue of the Superman movie stamps. So they gave out what they call first day covers, and they're a set of 4 stamps, each depicting a different scene. And she autographed one and gave it to me. And I'll tell you what, you talk about a sweetheart. Oh my God. And what a little doll. Oh God. She was another one. She wanted to sit in the front seat. And her agent is like, you don't do that. She looked at me and said, can I sit in the front seat? I said, hey, you can drive if you want. She goes, no, I would like to just sit in the front seat. Her agent was going crazy. Oh, geez, oh, Dana, you don't do no. I'll ask the driver. Can I sit in the front seat? I said, you can sit, you can drive this thing if you want. She's like, no, I would just like to sit in the front seat. She goes, I'm tired of talking to her. And her agent got, what? She goes, I want to talk to the driver. But what, oh God, what a little pixie. As a matter of fact, YouTube or Roku is running right now reruns of the whole China Beach series. from when it was on TV. I might watch one tonight just to get a look at Dana way back when. God, that would have been 98, 99. After China Beach, I don't know if she did much. I don't remember hearing her name much after China Beach. I'll have to gargle her and see what she did after China Beach. Because I know that she did the voiceover in the Superman movie. I don't know what she did too much after that. But I'll tell you what. Musicians, TV stars, movie stars, authors, congressmen, senators, God, you name it, I drove them. It was amazing the people that I wouldn't have got even close to these people over the years, let alone have them in the back seat of your car. There was only one that was a real asshole. As a matter of fact, halfway through the day, I called my dispatcher and I said, send somebody else. I'm not finishing this at all. I can't take the insults. Send another driver. Preferably send Stevie. Stevie was our black driver. We had a couple. I said, Stevie will work real well with this guy. So I dropped him and his entourage off at Morton's Steakhouse. And I told him, I said, when you're through at lunch, there'll be a different driver. He'll be watching for you. And he asked me why, and I said, every now and then we do split trips. One driver does half a day, the other driver does the other half. I really wanted to tell him, you're an asshole and I can't put up with you anymore. But I was polite. And out of all the years of driving, that was the only one. A true royal asshole. And I even gave up the tip. I just wanted away from this guy. Because I kept telling him my name, and he kept, yo, my man. I am not yo, my man. I have a name. I've told you 50 times. Among other things. So I dropped him at Morton's and went, Arrivederci, asshole. Well, he didn't hear me say that, but I said it under my breath. Oh, what an asshole. Oh my God. I felt sorry for his agent and his security guy and his secretary and who else was in the entourage. I have to put some more fluid in. That's one thing with a brand new lighter. You fill it and then you let it sit. And then you have to add until the cotton wadding inside gets fully saturated. But those limousine days were fun, man. There was one musical group, I can't remember their name. God, what was her name? She was a recording artist, and her band came with her. And while she was performing, she insisted I pull up a chair and sit on the stage. And I said, I'm not part of the act. She goes, you're part of the group. You're, how did she put it? You're our transportation specialist. And you will be on stage with me in the band. So I pulled up a chair and sat at the edge of the stage. Then after she got done performing, I couldn't believe it. A couple of groupies came up and wanted my autograph, and I said, I'm just the chauffeur. That's okay. Okay, here you go. Have a nice day. Me signing an autograph. I couldn't believe it. 3 autographs. There were 3 little groupies. Can we have your autograph? I'm the driver. That's okay. All right. Oh, you too? Oh, you too? Okay. I didn't become world famous. The autograph ain't worth nothing, girls. Then as a souvenir, the drummer gave me 2 of his broken drumsticks. I get these? Oh yeah, people fight for those. Okay, thank you. I didn't even get a whole drumstick. I got half. I guess you had to know. Yeah, the drummer said, oh, people fight for these. When after the show, I pick all the broken ones up, and then I pass them out. And man, I'll tell you what, the way he beat on them drums, he had a guy standing next to him with a set of drumsticks. And he'd break one, and like lightning, the guy would stick another one in his hand. He hardly missed a beat. Then he'd break another one. The guy was standing there with like 10 drumsticks in his hand. Hey, hey, hey. Goddamn wood flying all over the place. Like, hey, careful with them, man. I'm sitting over here. Although I'll tell you what, the most fun I had was at the Ozfest at the Akron Rubber Bowl. I think it was 96. I'm pretty sure it was 96. Man, you talk about, oh, crazy. Holy shit. I was driving the band called Tool. I never heard of them. I'm standing at the airport with a sign that says Tool. And a guy walked by and handed me a hammer. Thank you. Not really. So I load these guys up and we go out to the Akron Rubber Bowl. And those were the days when Ozzy was lucky he could remember his name. You talk about somebody that was out of it. Oh, yeah. So I'm talking to a couple of Akron cops. And they told me, take a walk down to that tent on the end. And I said, I'm in a brand new suit and it's dusty as hell. Just tell me what's down there. And the cop said, oh, you got to see this. I was like, okay. So I meander about a quarter mile down. And I walk in the tent and I was like, holy fuck. There's a stage or a riser. And there were 2 chairs. Stools, like bar stools. And there were 2 artists. And they were painting whatever band insignia you wanted on your body. Well, on the girls, they wanted the band insignias painted on their chest, minus underwear. And they're sitting there, and the painters are painting across their chest whatever band insignia. I was like, Jesus Christ. These girls have no modesty whatsoever. Oh man! And then they would walk through the crowd and flash. Look, I got Ozzy. Cover up, girl, cover up. What a wild event that was. So I'm in the food tent. Now, I have a big ID card, and it said Tool, because that's the band that I drove. Well, this little groupie spots me, and she comes over, and she's like, can I go meet the band? I said, no, go away. I'm eating lunch, go away. I want to meet the band. I said, you can't meet the band. I want to meet the band. And there's an Akron cop standing at the edge of the food tent laughing his ass off. And she is just driving me fucking crazy. I want to meet the band. I want to meet the band. I want to meet the band. Oh. I said, hey, come on, I'm trying to eat my lunch. It's hot in this tent. I'm sweating my ass off. So she said, are you really that hot? I said, no, not really. I'll let you in on a secret. I'm not wearing underwear. I was, but I made a joke with her. She grabs her blouse and goes, neither am I. Can I go meet the band? And I think that cop busted a gut. He had to walk out of the food tent. He laughed so hard. Yeah, she stuck that right in my face. I'm not wearing it either. Can I meet the band? No. Put them away. You're going to poke my eye out. Get away from me. So after I finished lunch, I walked out of the tent and the cop was still laughing. He said, I didn't think she'd ever leave you alone. I said, I didn't either. Is she following me? So it came time for them. It was their turn to perform. They were on just before Ozzy. So I'm talking to this cop, and the band manager comes over and said, the band is getting ready to perform. I said, oh, okay. Well, aren't you going to listen to them? I said, well, come on. I really didn't want to listen to them, but so he brings me up on the stage, and I'm sitting off in a corner. You can't really see me. I'm not paying attention to where I'm sitting, okay? Well, the band hit their first note, and my right eardrum went through my head and came out the left side. I didn't realize I was sitting next to 20 feet of tower speakers. There were speakers like 10 foot wide, 20 foot high. I couldn't hear the rest of the night. I wanted to stay for Ozzy, but besides being deaf, I was starting to get a migraine. And I was trying to hide because I was afraid the groupie was going to find me. But what a wild day. Oh my God. It's too bad they tore the Akron Rubber Bowl down. That was a wild place, man. All the money that Goodyear spent to build that stadium, and the city didn't want to pay anything to fix it up. So they tore it down. I can't remember what college team played football there. me, I didn't get any pictures. Just like Lakewood Hospital, they tore that down too. It's still a hole in the ground. They never did build the recreation center like they said they were going to. Yeah, God, over the years, just think of the people, the stars that performed at the Akron Rubber Bowl. It was a stadium that was known worldwide. Groups used to beg to get booked in there. And the city didn't want to spend any money. You know, Goodyear said, we'll go half. The city was like, nah, it's old, and, you know, we got this new stadium down the road, and, yeah, tore it down. Tore it down. Front row, tore it down. Coliseum, tore it down. God, I noticed today up at the corner of 140th and Emory is a landmark here, Frank's Delicatessen. Back in the late 40s, I can't remember what Frank's last name was. He built a building, and he built a house next door, and there was like a breezeway between the store and the house. It was like two garage doors is what it was, because if they wanted to get through to the backyard, they opened both the garage doors and drove through, and they used it to go between the store and the house because Frank lived in the house. Well, when Frank retired, he sold the store and the house, and that house was a landmark in itself because it went with the delicatessen. Well, last year about this time, the house caught fire. And the house was gutted. And they had no insurance. It was a rental house. Some slumlord owned the house, didn't insure it. So today, I drive by and I was like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. I turned around. Well, guess what? There's now a hole in the ground where the house used to be. And what is sad, any house that gets torn down in this neighborhood never gets rebuilt. We have more goddamn vacant lots. Like back in the day when they would, you know, raid a drug house. And then they would board it up and the city would take it over. Well, the city would tear them down. It is sad how many empty lots are in this neighborhood where houses used to be. Now, most of them were purchased by one or the other on either side of the lot, and people expanded their property. It's sad to see that house get torn down, because the house and Frank's were like, to me, historical monuments. I can remember going to Frank's when I was 5 years old, buying cigarettes. I have my note. Okay, here you go. And then I go home and here's your cigarettes, Mom. Cheap ass, didn't even let me keep the change. Unfortunately, the guy that bought Frank's about 3 years ago gutted the store. No freezer cases. He did away with the fresh lunch meat counter. Man, they had the best lunch meat. Did away with it. Filled the whole fucking store with coolers. Beer coolers, pop coolers, wine coolers. I walked in, I went, I think I'm in the wrong store. This don't look like Frank's. And when he stopped carrying my cigarettes, I stopped going to his store. That's how I got connected up with the two brothers across the street. See, and this is what I tried to explain to this guy, when you outright own a store, you can carry whatever you want. If you want to carry live ducks with city permission, you can. If you want to sell generic Pop-Tarts, you can. You own the building. You own everything. Well, he was carrying my LDs. The Newport cigarette rep came in and threatened him. She said, if you keep carrying those cigarettes, I am going to do away with your cigarette discount. Now, she had no right saying that. These LDs were not encroaching on the Newport rack. They were in a different rack with all the generic cigarettes. Well, besides LDs, she made him get rid of 24/7s, Monarch, Crown, all the oddball generics. So I went across the street and I said to the one brother, do you still have LDs? Oh, yeah. You want LD? Yeah, we got LD. I said, how is it you have LD and the guy across the street no longer carries them because the Newport rep threatened him. And the brother said, well, she threatened us too. And we told her, we own this store. We will carry whatever we want. If you don't like it, get your cigarettes out of our store, and we will not carry them. And he said she shit a brick. What? He said, yeah, if you don't like us carrying all these generics and you're going to threaten us with a loss of our discount, take your cigarettes out. People can go across the street and buy them. We won't sell them. And he said she was fucking speechless. So I says to him, you know what you should do? Call her supervisor. Because she can't do that. It's different like 7-Eleven or Speedway or Circle K. They're big franchise stores. They have to get permission to carry certain things. And believe me, Circle K does not carry the amount of generics that my little Indian store does. But with them being a big franchise, corporate makes the rules. Yeah, they told her outright, well, if you're going to take our discount away, take your product out too. We just won't sell them anymore. And I cannot believe how popular Newport cigarettes are. These suckers are banging at $10 and change a pack. I pay $5.40. I cannot believe people are shelling out $11 for one fucking pack of cigarettes. And the brothers were telling me they sell Newports like crazy. I can buy 2 packs to everybody else's 1. Same thing. I used to smoke Parliament hundreds. They're cranking $9 and change a pack right now. I haven't smoked them in years. I started smoking them goddamn cigarettes at age 14 because my uncle smoked them. And he was a long-haul truck driver, and he would get down in the Winston-Salem area, and he would buy them by the case. They were like $2 a carton. He'd buy a case, and then he would put the cigarettes on the shelf in his workshop. Well, the door had a gap in it about that big, and we could reach around and steal packs of cigarettes. I figure about now, with all the money I spent on Parliament cigarettes, Parliament owes me a casket. Not that I want one, but Zippo. You know, Kathy, when he told me that, I said, boy, you guys got guts. And the older brother, the taller one, the one with the sense of humor that I get along with real well, he said outright, we own this store. We own the property. We own the building. We own the fixtures. We own everything. We will sell what we want to sell. And no one is going to tell us different. And when he told her, get your Newports out of my store, she was like, you can carry them generics. He said the color drained from her face because she couldn't believe that they stood up to her. I never did ask him if he called her supervisor. I told him to. Yeah, she come in threatening because she wanted to expand her cigarettes. And there's only so much room for racks. So she wanted to get rid of the generics and put more Newports over there. He said, no, you own this rack right here. Not that one. Because I have already seen cigarette reps go into a store, a mom and pop, and tell them, can you cut down those generics? Instead of 3 rows, can you do like just 2? And I will pay you rent for that extra space. And peel off a couple $100. Damn it. You'd think I was Italian the way I talk with my hands. Yeah, there's a mom and pop smoke shop down at the shopping plaza. And I was in there the day the girl said, if you can cut them generics back, I'll rent that extra space. And she threw $200 on the counter. Oh, you know what? You know, Kathy, you know what I call menthol cigarettes? Lung bleeders. I call them lung bleeders. Because that goddamn menthol, oh, and Newports are strong. You know, in California, you can't buy a menthol cigarette. They passed legislation. You cannot buy a menthol cigarette in California. So people go across the border into another state. I don't know how people can smoke them. My friend up the street smokes Newports. And the one day I said to her, for the hell of it, I said, let me bum one. I took one drag, and I think my lungs just immediately crushed. They were like, oh, God. Oh, God. Newports and Cools. Cool is another one that's an ultra strong menthol. I don't know how people can smoke them. But California banned menthol cigarettes. If you want a menthol cigarette, you got to cross a state line. And usually people are buying them 3-4 cartons at a time. Yeah, you know what's crazy? You can't buy a menthol cigarette. But they didn't pass a legislation that said you can't smoke one. So people, they leave the state. I could see they're probably like a Circle K or a Speedway right over the state line. And they've got like 10,000 cartons of menthol cigarettes. People come in. I'm from California. How many cartons would you like, sir? Oh, give me 10. Okay. Charlie, put 10 in a box and bring them up to the counter. Comes out with a fucking wheelbarrow. Here you go. I couldn't believe it when I heard that they passed legislation that you cannot buy or sell menthol cigarettes in California. So people just cross the state line. Speedway probably built a goddamn gas station 10 feet from the state line. Here you go. Big advertisement. Menthol, menthol, menthol. Although California, usually when California passes a law, within 5 years, it goes right to the East Coast. I'm surprised more states haven't done that. Although they're making good money off a cigarette tax. I don't know if any other state banned menthol besides California. Because my friend that lives in Scottsdale, she goes and buys her cigarettes on the reservation because she said they're way cheaper. I can't remember what Indian tribe, but yeah, twice a month she makes a trip to the cigarette shop on the Indian reservation and buys her cigarettes. I'll have to ask her what tribe. They probably have a casino too. Gotta hand it to the Indians. For what we did to them, they turn right around and they're doing to us. Oh, you take our land, we build casino, we take your money. And it's amazing how many goddamn casinos are owned by Indian tribes. And I'll tell you, when they build a casino and a hotel, money is no object. I remember, matter of fact, my friend that owned the house up the street that I got thrown out of, she worked for a marble company. And she was showing me some of the high-end marble that they ordered for their casino. I was like, holy shit. There's this one, and she showed me a tile. Wherever this marble is mined, the marble has gold veins in it. And they bought this tile for their casino. You look at a tile and it's got gold veins running through it. Probably about, back in the day, $50 a tile. I would have loved to seen a picture of, like, the reception area when you walk into the hotel. All that tile with the gold in it. But yeah, the old Indians got back at us. Oh, you take our land? Ha ha ha, we take your money now. You gambling addict? Oh, here, you get free pass. Hotel room free. Just go in the casino, spend your money. Oh, Kathy, she brought, they were 12 by 12. And she brought 4 of them home. And it was white marble. And you could see the veins of gold running through. It was, oh man. She put them 4 tiles down on her kitchen table. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. And she said, we're selling like millions of feet of this tile. Wherever they were mining it, the mine was going 24/7 just to keep up with the tile, the marble tile for that casino. And it's some casino like around New York. And you figure the whole casino, the hotel, the casino itself, the hallways, inside the rooms, all done in this tile. I told her, I says, I would have loved to had my kitchen done in that. Mainly because the upkeep is real easy, although get it wet, break a hip. Can't afford to be breaking no hips. If I could talk my buddy into selling me this house cheap, I would rip the goddamn bathtub out and put a big walk-in shower. Get one of them bath fitters or whatever the name of them companies are that, like my friends, they had their master bath redone. Took the bathtub out, have a big shower. It's got a seat built into it. She said she goes in to take a shower and sits down. And that's like, whoa, this is cold. Run some hot water on that bench. That's what I would do here. Big walk-in shower. Although they've got money. The bathroom has its own hot water tank. It's one of them on demand. It's a little thing. She was showing it to me. The bathroom has its own water. It doesn't connect to the hot water tank in the house. And she said you could stand underneath that thing for 2 hours and have hot water for as long as you want. And then there's the shower unit over on that wall. And where the bench is, they have a shower wand connected to its own faucet. But in the middle of the shower in the ceiling is this big square deluge shower. It's like 12 by 12, and it's got like 1,000,000 holes in it. And if you want to stand in the middle of the shower under the deluge shower, you can do it that way. Or you could go over there and have a small shower head, or you can sit on the bench and have a shower wand. It must be nice to have money. Then she made the joke one day that the, the shower company said that you could accommodate 8 people easily. I was like, what? I'm not going to your house for no shower party. Sorry. 8 people in a shower. I guess that's the modern generation. Gee, what are you doing tonight, Susie? Oh, we're going to Ben and Susie's at Sharon's house. We're having a shower party. You're having a what? Oh, yes, we're having a shower party. What's a shower party? Well, it's 8 people in a shower. Really? Yeah. I'll get you an invite. No, thank you. I prefer showering alone. Well, that's that old generation that you come from. A shower party. Oh. When she said a shower party, I thought maybe wedding shower, engagement shower, baby shower. No, it's a shower shower. Invite all your friends. Everybody gets in the shower. Not for me. I'll pass. Thank you for the invite. Jesus. A shower party. I have to remember Friday. I have to call Tommy's Pastry and order me my pogachas for Sunday. Yeah. Back in our day, it was bring your own bottle. Now it's bring your own bar of soap. Shower party. Yeah, Sunday when I went to Tommy's, he only had half a dozen pogachas. It's like, half a dozen? He goes, oh, they sell fast. You got to order them. I was like, oh, give me them 6. I'll tough it out. So I got apple cheese Danish. I got 2 of them. I got apple cheese cinnamon. And big, huge cinnamon roll. And I mean huge. Best pastry on earth. He opens at 4 a.m. I told him, I'm not coming at 4 a.m. to get hot pastry, thank you. 7 days a week, 4 to noon. Closes at noon on the dot. Yeah, Kathy. He was like $65,000 in debt between rent and utilities and product, you know, flour and that shit. So he flew over to Hungary because his parents owned, as he put it, an estate and a 200-acre working farm. And it took him a year and a half to sell those properties because it's not like here. It takes forever for a title to property to clear and transfer. And he came back with enough money to pay all the debt. And he says, I've got enough of a nest egg to keep the bakery going at least 8 to 10 more years. I was like, well, I'm happy to hear that. He has 2 apprentices that are training at a big bakery school, college in Hungary. And then when they've mastered the craft, he's going to sponsor them and bring them over to kind of take over the business. He told me this bakery college in Hungary is like the Culinary Institute of America here in the United States, or Johnson and Wales College. Like, you know, these are culinary, over there it's bakery college. And they teach the old world way of baking. So, I am very happy to see Tommy's Pastry open again. And he told me he picked up 90% of his commercial customers. I was like, boy, I'm glad to hear that. Can you imagine Tommy closes and this other Hungarian bakery is like, oh boy, we're going to get all the business. And then for 2 years, you're getting all the business. And then all of a sudden the customer goes, sorry, we're done. I'm going back to Tommy. Yeah, his brother does all the deliveries in the morning. And he says they got almost all of their restaurants back because a lot of the restaurants were like, God, this pastry doesn't really taste old world anymore. Yeah. His brother was, Tommy was talking my ear off. I'm trying to leave, you know. It's like 12:30, and he's talking. Although, while I was there, 4 more customers came in. Matter of fact, the one woman bought the whole tray of Danish. There were like 24. She said, I'll take that whole tray. You're like, oh, okay. He's packing her order, talking to me. Then he started talking in Hungarian, and I went, up, Tommy, up. I don't understand Hungarian. No. I guess he wanted to tell me something he didn't want that woman to hear. I was like, I don't speak it, unfortunately. He must have got a fortune for that property to come over here and drop $65,000 on the table and clear all of his debts. Not to mention, he expanded the bakery. He bought some new machinery. I see some new conveyor belts and shit. I told him I'd love to see the stuff in action. He said, well, show up here about 2 o'clock in the morning when we start baking. I was like, I don't think so. Now I can understand why he closes at noon. If they start baking at 2 a.m., yeah, him and his brother and an uncle. An uncle came over on a work visa. He said it's good for a year. And hopefully at the end of a year he can get it extended. And his brother speaks no English at all. The whole family was bakers. The whole goddamn family. Matter of fact, he even said around the holidays, his sister is coming over because they'll need help baking, poppy seed, nut roll, kuchens. Big family operation. But Kathy, those Danish are fucking huge. And about this thick. And that cinnamon roll is the size of a plate. Like a sandwich plate. And it's about 2 inches thick. Goddamn huge. You could take that thing and cut it in 4 and pass it around the table. Everybody get a piece. Not me. I'm eating the whole thing. I'm a pig. And the icing, the icing's got to be fucking half-inch thick on the top of it. I didn't even ask price. Because when I'm getting quality, I don't care. Because I said, what are these? He goes, they're apple cheese and they're... I didn't even hear it. I said, Tommy, just give me 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these. Give me them 6 pogachas on the end over there and give me 1 of them cinnamon rolls. And then he said to me, that'll be $20, Sunday discount. I know all of that was more than $20. But he was just glad to see a return customer. because I walked in the door and I said, "Thank God you're open again." He goes, "Well, thank God you're here." And then we started talking. Because when I lived in Lakewood for them 3 years, I was down there at least 3 times a week because it was a block and a half from my apartment. And I would stop in there just to bullshit with him, and get freebies. I'd be in there bullshitting, and he'd go, "Well, help yourself to a Danish while you're here." Okay. You didn't hear this? No, 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 no. When I lived down the street, you knew when Tommy started baking because the whole neighborhood smelled like bakery. I'd be laying in bed and go, "Oh, Tommy started baking." But I didn't even ask him price. I should just put it all in a box. How much? Sunday discount, $20. I said, "Are you sure?" Yeah, $20. Here you go. He could have said 30 and I'd have paid it. Because he has got, oh God. And I'll tell you what, them Polgotches taste like the ones my grandmother used to bake. I gotta call him. I'm gonna order 2 dozen. It was hard not eating them on the way home, believe me. I waited. So I'm gonna call him Friday and tell him I want 2 dozen for Sunday. And I don't care how much. I just wish I could eat fucking poppy seed. Oh, he had poppy seed filled Danish. It was so tempting. There were like 6 of them on a tray, oozing with poppy seed. I was like, "Oh, put them away, Tommy. Get them on." He said, "What's wrong with poppy seed? You don't like?" I said, "Tommy, I would be happy if I fell into a vat full of poppy seed. I can't eat it." They said, "Oh, digestion problem?" I said, "No, doctor problem." Doctor told me I can't eat them. I'll test positive for cocaine and marijuana. He said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, ask your doctor." God, he was telling me when he arrived over in Hungary, now he said he wasn't feeling 100% when he left, but he didn't go to a doctor. He gets over to Hungary. He's over there like 2 weeks. And he said he started urinating blood. So he goes to the emergency room. And an oncologist comes in and says to him, "We've got to do CT and MRI." He said, "I don't have any hospitalization." He said, "Don't worry." He goes through a shitload of blood work. He has a CT done. He has an MRI done. He's got a tumor in his bladder. So they do a needle biopsy. He said they stick this big fucking needle down into his bladder, because they were watching on a scope so that they could get into the tumor. And it was malignant. And he went through a shitload of chemo and radiation. But he said they do their chemo a little different over there. Now, all of his hospitalization and everything got paid by the government because they have some kind of health care thing. Once a week, he would get an injection into that tumor. He said the syringe was huge. It was about that big around, and he said about that tall. And they would give him that injection into that tumor. He said the injection, $9,000 a shot. And he had 9. But he said after every injection, you could literally see the tumor shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And he is now cancer-free. I could see my doctor going, "Yeah, I got to give you a shot." "Okay, I've been shot." "Well, it's only $9,000. What? What? So he said basically after they shrunk the tumor, he went through like 4 months of radiation. But he told me, he said basically, the doctors told me if I would have been diagnosed in an American hospital, I would be dead. That's how far advanced their medicine is in Europe. Yeah. He said, not like here, no losing the hair, no fucking puking your guts out. But his doctor told him, if you would have been diagnosed in the United States, you would be dead. And it's amazing why we don't have. Well, I'll tell you why. Cancer's a big business. Look at every hospital. They have a special wing, a whole hospital. They have donors that leave them gazillion dollars to put their name on the building. Like UH with their Seidman Cancer Center. Well, Seidman was a big gazillionaire. He said, I'll leave all my money to you if you name the building after me. He said in Europe, they cure cancer. In America, they stretch it out to get as much money as they can. God, what the hell's it made out of? Gold and titanium? Jesus Christ. $6,000 a pill? Oh, wait a minute. I read something about, I read something about, it's a new drug. I can't remember what it treats. Yeah, the cost of the pills are outrageous. I read something about it a couple months back. I forget what it cures. Ridiculous. There is no medication on Earth. How do they justify that for one fucking pill? Zippo time. Windproof. Look at that. You can see the ceiling fan blowing. It didn't go out. Oh, Ron, I'm going to use the shit out of that lighter, boy. That's the best gift on earth. Again, thank you. And like I said, it's not going to go on a shelf. It's going in my belt pouch, and I would be using the shit out of it. And I can throw the Ronson in the fucking box. Goddamn piece of shit. Oh, believe me, I'm enjoying it already. Every time I light it, it don't go out. Nothing better than hands down on earth, the best lighters made. and made in America. That's the best thing. And they're still the same quality as they were 60 years ago. Because I compared this one to one that I've got that's about 50 years old. Same quality. Zippo has not gone on the cheap with their product. Oh, Kathy, my grandfather, he must have had 20 Zippo lighters. Matter of fact, my sister's got them. She told me one day she goes through them, she'll give me some of them. He would not, when he would go to the smoke stand at the West Side Market, the guy that owned the smoke stand, I can't remember his name, he would get like New Ronsons in, and he'd say, "Here, Joe, try one." And my grandfather would be, "No, it's not a Zippo, it's junk." Any old timer, like your dad, would swear by a Zippo because they were reliable, they're windproof. You saw, I got the ceiling fan on high. It didn't blow it out. It blew the flame away. It didn't blow it out. Oh boy! Then you're going to have two perfect eyes. Good for you. How's the first one doing? Have you done the old hand over the eye trick? Just amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. Like I say, Kathy, I didn't realize how fucking blind I was until both eyes healed up and I was like, holy shit, I can see again. Good. Glad to hear it. And tomorrow, the other eye will be doing fabulous. I'm glad everything it worked out. It's amazing surgery. And it's amazing the vision that you get back. I was shocked. I was literally shocked when both of my eyes were 100% healed and I got on the freeway. I was like, holy shit, I can see 3-4 exits down. So I think at the end of the month, I think is my appointment to get this right eye lasered, get rid of that scar tissue before it screws up my vision. And then I'll be back 100% again. It's not bad, but when I cover my eye, I out of my peripheral vision, it's just a little foggy. So my eye doctor said, a little laser zap and I'll be good to go. But I'm glad to hear you're your eye is doing fabulous. That's always good news. And then you'll be like me. Anybody that is complaining about poor vision, you'll be like, hey. Yeah, until you get both eyes done, it's screwy. It really is. Because you can't wear your fucking glasses. And if you pop a lens out, the two eyes are fighting each other. That's why my surgeon told me, just put up with it. Once we do the second eye, you'll be fine. Just put up with it. Okay. It was hard driving though, I'll tell you that. I drove with a hand over the bad eye. And then it was driving me crazy. Lucky I didn't cause an accident, for Christ's sake. But I am so happy that I finally had it done. Best thing I ever did. Well, I was kind of a maniac. Especially with you out in God's country out there. No, we don't want to bend the F-150. We don't want all them plastic parts falling off. So who's taking you tomorrow? Your daughter? I know you're not driving. Last night, I was kind of getting bored with murder mysteries, interrogations and all that. So I watched 2 hours of train versus vehicle collisions. I'll tell you what, I never saw so many stupid truck drivers in my life with a semi going around the gates and then get halfway across the tracks and the train hits the trailer. Or people sneaking around. 2 hours of idiots. You know, a train doing 50 miles an hour takes a mile to stop. They don't stop on a dime. There was one guy his landing gear on his trailer got stuck in the tracks. And he was waving. Like the train, first of all, like the engineer sees him. And second of all, it's like, if he can't stop, buddy. He's standing on the tracks waving. Then finally, when the train got close, he took off running as the train went through the middle of his trailer. And it was a load of toilet paper. Toilet paper went everywhere. Free Charmin for everybody. Yeah, it was 2 hours of train collisions with vehicles. And I'm watching this going, you stupid idiot. These people, they drive around the gate, and then it's like, uh-oh. Luckily, nobody in all of these collisions got injured. People were able to bail out of their vehicles and get the hell out of the way before the train hit. And then, like, some of these cities have, they call them a tram. It's something like, San Francisco's streetcars. And people turned in front of them, That's right, Ron. Train wins every time. I just wonder what some of these stupid truck drivers, how they explained it to the boss. I went around the gates. The train was a little faster than I thought. And then there were some young kids that it amazes me they didn't get killed. They were doing some TikTok challenge. How close you can get to the tracks and do a selfie or a video. These kids were goddamn nuts. Matter of fact, there were two girls that the force of the wind from the train blew them off the tracks. And the engineer thought he killed them. And he threw the goddamn train into emergency and then ran back a mile and a half, and both of the girls were dazed. They were sitting there going, oh, what the hell happened, I felt sorry for that goddamn engineer, because he thought he killed them two girls. They were that close with their selfie stick taking a video for TikTok. Some challenge. How close can you get to the train without getting hurt? Every day I read about some stupid online challenge. Like that, what the hell they call it? The choking challenge. Where you like fucking hang yourself so that you can get a buzz. Jesus Christ. And then there was one called the huffing challenge. And you snort keyboard cleaner. And there was one doctor said basically that shit can screw your brain up for life. I don't know who comes up with this shit. And then it's amazing how many stupid kids do these challenges. I remember when, what the hell was it called? Planking. Where you laid stiff as a board and you had somebody take a picture. You know, people laying on the edge of a building. This younger generation, social media will kill you, man. That's why I'm not. That's about it, Kathy. Who the hell comes up with this? Take a can of keyboard cleaner, air in a can, but it's not, it's butane, and sniff it. Yeah, they just have to remind you with the color books that you get for the rest of your life, don't eat the crayons. Unbelievable. And I think on that note, we're going to call it a night. I have some pogachas waiting for me. Oh. What the hell happened here? Oh, we don't want the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Take two. Goddamn tablet wanted to play its own music. We know where, right here, WDWL TV. And with that, everybody, thanks for being here. It's been another fun night. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Tomorrow, Kathy, I want an eye report. And with that, have a great evening.